You know, there's nothing like being in the green room. This is where the magic happens. I look forward to these type of conversations. And this morning, this evening, this afternoon, we have the one and only Omai in the house. Now, Omai, you have this extensive background, and I'm not going to read her bio. You have that bio in front of you, so I'm going to ask Omai the question I love to ask, which is who is Omai? But more importantly, what are you up to these days? That's what we want to know.
Gotcha. Well, I love to start off by saying, Shay, you are phenomenal. I'm so happy to be here as an entrepreneur, and your audience is amazing. I've been following
Thank
you
you.
for a very long time, and I'm so excited to be here with your amazing audience who's so interactive and so intelligent. You got intelligent people, and I just want to say thank you for bringing us on. Now, about me, I'm your favorite wealth hacker. I love to hack into wealth in reference to bringing wealth tools and resources to people and information and stories and experience. And so my background as a wealth activist has been since I don't even remember when, but we can get started in about 2006 when I actually started really working towards my own wealth and building it with other people. So my background is extensive in media as well as business and entrepreneurship. And I'm just a serial entrepreneur, but I actually moved that into investments and investing in people, whether it be financially, emotionally, or through business therapy.
You know, when people hear the word wealth, it means different things to different people. And I know we get into the segment, we get going. I know you talk about what is a hackathon and wealth hackathon, but just for us people that are behind the scenes right now, one of the question is when you hear the word wealth, what does wealth mean to you? What does wealth look like? So we're all on the same page.
I love it. Well, first of all, being wealthy is your birthright. It is your civil right. You're born with it already. Abundance is where you come from. A lot of people say, I came from nothing. I'm here to tell you that you came from everything. You know how many billions of sperm that it took for you to come from your father into that defining moment where you enter into that egg. That's a huge deal already. So you already came from an abundant resource, abundant sources here on the face of the earth. But it's also the opportunity to tap into your spiritual abundance as well. So to me, it's where spiritual wealth and your material wealth join forces and cater to you. And I feel like a lot of people don't know what wealth is because they're only thinking about the tangible material wealth. But we also have to look at the spiritual, the mentality, the mindset, and basically your relationships, your energy, who you're connected to, what you're thinking, your ideas. There's so many aspects of wealth. We don't want to minimize it to just what we think riches are. We want to talk about wealth as far as abundance. And I know for a fact that everybody can feel inside them there's so much more inside of them. And that's why they get frustrated when they are not able to express that or live that out. And we want to make sure that we hack into people's wealth to show them better than we can tell them. So we just want to make sure that we understand that wealth is what you make it. And wealth is also naturally inside of you. It's something that you have inside of you. Nobody can give it to you, but we're here to activate it.
You know, you talked about activating it. Take a moment. We're in the middle of a global pandemic. We're in the
Ooh.
middle of a financial pandemic. We're in the middle of a social racist pandemic. And take a moment and talk about that during this time right now with wealth going on right now. What type of conversation have you been having with your colleagues behind the scenes as you get ready, not for something new, because this has now been going on for well over 9 months, but really getting ready for the new normal in the next half. So what's the conversation behind the scenes? That's the question that you've been encouraging and talking about to get really
Yeah.
ready.
Well, that's where Wealth Hackathon was birthed because it's very difficult to look at reality and play like it's not here because it's here, it's evident, and it's real. But the Great Depression created millions of millionaires, right? When we go through economic recessions or depressions and we go through these economic downturns, this is where the most millionaires are created. Why? Because they're able to take advantage of the situation and the matter at hand. This is not by chance. Every 17 years, if you look up every 17 years, between 10 and 17 years, there's an economic downturn. And when you prepare yourself, it's about preparation. We should be having conversations about preparation to answer answer your question. And that's the conversations that we're having right now, building alliances, building mastermind groups, joining forces, investing together, saving together, having these conversations candidly and not running from the challenge. We challenge our challenges. This is where you guys talk about comeback all the time. And that's how you make a comeback, is that you're prepared to do so. So the conversations that are being had are conversations of preparation, but also capitalizing off of opportunities that exist. And I believe that a lot of people see that now. Some people are in a position where they're not able to capitalize. That's when you team up with other people who are, like Shay, right? He's bringing resources right now, here and now, even in the middle of the night, to let people know and understand that you can still make a move even when you maybe have to rely on somebody else to make that move for you. So we're talking about teaming up, we're talking about building alliances, and we're talking about making sure that people feel comforted with each other emotionally as well as financially. And we don't want to misstep your emotions and your feelings just by talking about money all the time. We want to let you know that we care about your well-being. So those are the conversations we're having, is how is our well-being doing as a whole?
You know, I'm super excited about this conversation. You're talking about well-being. You're talking about where we are right now. And the question I had before we get started, I know you're going to talk about Wealth Hackathon, but what do you enjoy most about what you're doing right now? For those folks that are meeting you, like, man, why does she enjoy doing this? Take a minute or two and tell us, what do you enjoy most about what you do now?
To be quite honest with you,
of course, we want you to be honest.
I just want to be quite honest, though. But to be quite honest with you, I believe that it's the feeling of, my daughter always says, Mom, this is really satisfying. What does a 7-year-old really know about that satisfying? But it's about the fulfillment that I feel about myself, to be honest with you. And this is not to be selfish. This is not to take the light off of the what we call testimonials from other people. But I feel good about myself. And I believe that when you feel good about what you do, it makes it even, you amplify that effect on other people. I feel like I'm walking in my defined purpose. And in that purpose, I'm able to join forces with people a lot better. So I'm feeling really, really good. And I say I'm wealthy. People like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm wealthy, Wellthy. I am wealthy because I feel well. And that wellness comes from not trying to contemplate struggle culture, right? But getting into this thriving where I make it satisfactory. I make things satisfying for myself. So that's the number one thing that I get out of it. With that, simultaneously, when I hear people telling me, Dr. O, I wasn't thinking about it that way. Hey, I never thought about it this way. I never knew someone like you, or I never had this type of opportunity, and I'm sent there by God to give them that opportunity. I know that it's not me, right? It's me carrying out purpose and matching that with somebody else's purpose and joining forces with them. So to hear their replies and to see their lives change, and not just hear it with their mouth, but see it through their actions, it's unheard of.
Yeah, it's unheard of. Look, I'm super excited. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a show. What's up, Eric Swanson, my man out there right now? Betty Speaks is in the house. Carol, it is always a pleasure to see you. Eddie, I'm telling you, you're in for the treat. This whole Wealth-a-thon, this whole hack a Wealth-a-thon, I can't wait. With that being said, we've got a show. We've got to get going in. 5, it's going to be amazing. 4, it's my favorite part to do. 3, 2, you'll be back in just a moment. Here we go. We'll see you in just a second, everyone. Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown.
Mic check, mic check.
All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Yes. Yeah.
And they stay there. And they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Well, it's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the #1 business development and revenue-focused late-night show in the country where we're on a mission. That's right. Our mission is to empower. Our mission is to inspire. And our mission is to provide you, that's right, you the entrepreneur, you the one watching right now, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big, big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And I always share, I believe you have 3 visions, by the way. I believe first, you have a vision for yourself. Like the way you want to live, the clothes that you want to wear, the food that you're going to eat. And it takes resources, which means it takes revenue. And there's a second vision I believe you have. You have a vision for your loved ones. Today I got a chance to take Mother Dear to her physical therapy appointment. And you know what? Coming back, and she was talking about ordering some stuff from Amazon. And she uses the card, by the way. But it felt good to know that she could do that. And some of you that are out there right now, you want to write a check for someone's healthcare insurance right now. Some of you want to send your kids to a school of your choice. Others of you out there, as you're watching right now, you want to write a check for a cause you believe in right now. It takes resources, which means it takes, I know, you got it, revenue. And then the third vision I believe you have is you have a vision for the people you were called to serve, right? And I want you to imagine for a moment as you're Noah in the Bible. It's one of my favorite stories to tell. You don't have to be a believer, although I'm one. But you got all the experience from God. You have all the expertise. You're ready to get going. And right before you get going, there's a knock at the door. You're like, what's going on? They say, excuse me, Noah, I have to report to you, my friend. There are no hammers in the house. All right, cool. No hammers, no worries. I'm not going to panic. There's another knock at the door. What's up? Noah, over here. I've got to let you know. I might as well confess as well that there are no nails either. No hammers, no nails. I'm good with that. There's one more knock at the door. Isn't it always that one more? Yes, what could possibly be going on now? Noah, there's no wood and there's no people. Good luck on this mission. And maybe that's you right now. You've got a big heart. You already believe everything you want to believe, but you don't have the revenue. You don't have the resources you need to execute that vision. And it's time for you to get wealthy. It's time for you to hack your way into wealth. And we got the one and only Dr. Omai in the house. What's up, Doc? How you doing?
I am so excited. I'm wealthy, remember?
That's the best way. How could you answer that? I'm wealthy.
I'm wealthy.
For those folks that are watching, they've been like, I've been hearing this for a long time. It's all about wealth. Take a moment, and I know this might be an unfair question, but what's one of the challenges holding people back from really cracking through and breaking through and getting to that next level so they can be wealthy? What's one of the things that holds especially entrepreneurs, okay? And right now you have business owners and entrepreneurs, single moms, single dads. They're all watching right now. What's the biggest challenge that's standing in their way, do you believe?
Besides limiting beliefs and oftentimes subconscious blocks, that's too heavy to just throw out there. So to each its own, it's their belief system. And I have to challenge my challenges, right? So we have to always be willing to challenge our beliefs. But besides limiting beliefs and possibly their subconscious blocks, I honestly believe that wealth distribution is not the way that it should be. I just truly believe that wealth distribution oftentimes is in the wrong hands. There's a ton of corruption. There's a ton of discrimination. There's a ton of systemic issues. There's a ton of overspending and consumership. There's a ton of mismanaging bills, bad relationships. There's a ton of things that can be the cause of that. As an entrepreneur, our role is to create. And oftentimes you have to be in the right space. You have to have the right team, the right mindset. You have to, you have to really be ready for this life. You got to be about this life, as they would say. So there's many blocks, but I believe that besides limiting beliefs and blocked subconsciousness, I really do believe that wealth distribution is not at the top of our conversations and our topics. And I believe that once entrepreneurs see that they are distributors and they are the ones who are here to lead the charge in distributing the wealth, I believe that people would step up a little bit differently, and that will help them to do so once they recognize that they're the wealth distributor. More than a product distributor or a business distributor, they're the wealth distributor. And once they recognize that, I believe they can do a better job at doing that with a sense of ease, if you will, and with a sense of purpose.
A sense of ease and sense of purpose. For those first watching right now, go ahead and feel free to hit the watch party button, hit the share button. You can pay this message forward to your network. And when you hit the share button, when you hit the watch party button, I'm going to answer this question next. But go ahead and write there right now that wealth is your birthright. I'm going to ask her to break that thing down, unpackage that, and put Dr. Omai. Just put hashtag Dr. Omai. Hit the share button, hit the watch party button, pay this message forward. We believe in the giver's economy. The person outgives the competition, out-earns the competition. So hit that button right now. And when you do, just write those words down. Wealth is your birthright. Hashtag Dr. Omai. That was something that when I saw your page and I saw the topic, I was like, wealth is your birthright. That hit me right here. Take a moment, and I know that's a lot, but unpackage that for a moment. Why is that a belief that you have, and why is that one of your core philosophies that you share?
Well, this goes back to my belief systems. This goes back to my subconscious programming. This goes back to my consciousness efforts on the face of this earth. And once I just discovered and studied poverty, I was homeless for 3 years in Atlanta, Georgia. And this was during the time that I was basically rising in my career. I'm working with Jazzy Faye and T.I. and, we could just go on the Lit Brandy, Norwood, and just Keisha Cole and all these people. And nobody believed that I was homeless the whole time. I modeled for, I got selected to model for Bishop T.D. Jakes Mega Fest, and with Bishop Noel Jones. I'm on a stage with Eva, America's Next Top Model, homeless. Living out of my truck, okay? And no one would really believe me. I got selected to go on Flavor of Love and just so many different shows. And I was just in Atlanta fulfilling my dreams in the media industry. And it was very difficult for people to look at me and see that this young lady didn't have a home or a place to stay. I lived on the streets because just from my own limiting beliefs, and also people not believing that I was actually homeless because, I stayed made up and dressed up. And I don't care if I put on the same outfit, 8 times a week. I didn't want to look a certain kind of way. It says in the Bible, when you're fasting, don't look like you're in shame, just fast appropriately and don't share all your business. But in the same token, keep going. And so even in that situation and circumstance, I had just filed for bankruptcy. I was new to the city. It was a whole lot of extenuating circumstances. And long story short, I said, if I can do this in poverty, I know I can do this in wealth. And as I'm on the streets in Atlanta, Georgia, I was, on set with Tyler Perry, and I'm doing all these big things and dealing with the best of them. I said, I got to change something. It has to be something else going on. And as soon as I started to turn that tide, people started welcoming me into their homes and really listening to me and helping me out, obviously. But I also started helping myself to my wealth. And I started to think to myself, well, this is my birthright. Like, this is what I was born with, obviously. I met more millionaires that were homeless than I had ever met in my life. Because what I realized, REALEYES, what I had to realize was that these people were hopeless, not necessarily homeless. So I had to restore hope within myself by learning and knowing that wealth is my birthright. I don't have the right to be poor. Being poor is expensive. I can't afford it. It's too costly for me. I don't want it. Thank you, God, for the lesson. Ironically, years before, I was feeding the homeless. Me and my business partners, a lot of women were, models and modeling. I was a model, and I was like, no, we're going to model. Let's model Christ. Let's go out here and feed the homeless. And I did that for years and then became homeless myself. So for those 3 years, I studied my wealth. I didn't study my poverty. I knew what poverty was, obviously. And I just started studying people for who they really were from their stories. And I started learning from them. Long story short, I recognized that wealth was not only my birthright, it was actually all of our birthright. And it was something that we all had access to and that we all should never be stopped from. And it just became a platform that I utilized to get myself out of homelessness.
Man, incredible story. For those folks that are out there, here's what I want you to know. If Dr. Omai can do it, so can you. If Dr. Omai can do it, so can you. Do me a favor. I want you to look right below the video right now. Look right below the video and write these words. Wealth is my birthright. Wealth is my birthright. Wealth is my what? Birthright. And as you write those words, if you've never seen it before and you see a comment below and someone put wealth is my birthright, hit the heart button, hit the share, hit the like button. Go ahead and encourage someone right now. And as we do that, you have a second part to that. You said that wealth is your civil right. And that's a little deep. It's a little deep.
Okay, so I'm gonna get into it because we don't have long, and I don't know when I'm gonna join the Happy Entrepreneur Show again. So listen up. Whenever we're boycotting or we're feeling like something's being taken away from us, whenever we feel as Black people, especially whenever we feel even as women that we don't have the right to do something, that we're treated less than subhuman, or we're being made to feel like we're not a priority or something like that, it starts to really mess with your subconscious. It starts to really mess with your spiritual realm, and it starts to pull on you in a certain kind of way. So when we talk about civil rights, don't give me the right to vote. Give me access to lobby. Poor people are taught to vote. Not that voting is bad. Voting is extremely powerful. So don't go misquote Dr. O. Just understand what I'm telling you. That rich people are taught to lobby and poor people are told to vote. I believe that voting is powerful. Rich people vote too, don't get me wrong. But it's like, what are we being fed and what are we being told? My civil right is to own a bank. It is my civil right to own a school. It's my civil right to be able to have parcels of land that I can distribute for generations in my family. Those are my civil rights. Somebody telling me I can vote or I can do this and I can do that, that's not a civil right. That is a law that you, as a law-abiding citizen, that you have access to. That's what we call a liberty. But when we start talking about rights, wealth is my birthright. And I don't want to remain 280 years behind the wealth gap. In the year 2050, they expect the median wealth of African Americans to be zero. That's a lie. That's not the truth. We cancel that now because that's what they look forward to. That's their narrative on our lives. But they're going by history. And so when we start talking about history, what our forefathers were talking about, when I say forefathers, I mean our Black forefathers were talking about, they were talking about the rights to be able to be a man, the right to be a woman, the right to be a father or a wife. We were talking about human rights. Those are civil rights to me, my human right to be wealthy. And so when I think about the rights that people fight for, it is not negative, it is not bad. Continue to fight that fight. But what I'm fighting for is the other side of that. When I'm able to set my generations up, that racism is not even the discussion anymore. It's how much wealth are we going to distribute for the next 100 years? The Rothschilds have a 100-year plan. That's a civil right. That's their civil right. That is their birthright to even have the audacity to have a 100-year plan. Where do y'all get that from? Why is it that you feel that that's okay for you to do? Because it's their civil right. That's their birthright. They feel righteous in doing that. And it says that a righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children for many years to come. And that means his children's children's children. And so when we think about that, that's what civil rights means to me. And that's when I started to research that and I started to understand civility. That's kind of where that came from, but they're not going to talk about it that way. And I just decided to say that tonight on the Happy Andre. Are you happy?
Nah, we happy. We're happy. It's my civil right and it's my birthright. And what I admire most about it is not only the frankness, but now is the time. Everyone is out there right now as you're listening to Dr. Omai talk. Look right below the video and just drop a number one. If you believe now is your time, like now is the time, more time than ever. Now is the time. Just drop a little one below. No matter if you're watching on, I get it, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, a podcast. Don't send me a note. I know you can't do it, but if you're watching live right now, you can hear my voice. Just put number one. Put a number one right below. And for folks out there like Melissa Lambert, who's watching right now, Danny, what's up? Danny's in the house. Kevin Miles says, well, wealth is my birthright. How true is that? You have this whole philosophy on hackathon. And in the time we have, I love it. When I heard it, I was like, man, that is super creative. That is you all day long. Take a moment for those folks that are hearing it for the first time and wondering, what in the LL Cool J is she talking about, Shay? Take a moment to talk about what is hackathon, and then maybe share one hackathon with those of us that are tuning in right now, that are listening right now.
Hey, Shay, it's nice to meet you, brother. I love your energy. Okay, so Wealth Hackathon is a platform that has 4 pillars of wealth. And the 4 pillars of wealth, there are many, 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 but the ones that I know for a fact are going to create change is credit, streams of income. Also, we want to always talk about savings and investments, obviously, right? So Wealth Hackathon was a way for me to start hacking into wealth. There are motivational speakers and there are activation speakers. I'm an activator. I'm here to activate. You should motivate yourself, and then I team up with you with some action. But with that, Wealth Hackathon was really birthed out of me knowing that wealth was my birthright and my civil right. But it's one thing to know it. It's like, I'm hungry, but are you going to eat though? So this is a way for people to eat. And it's like, don't be hungry and not eat. We're never greedy, but we stay hungry. And if you're hungry, then you're going to go get something to eat. So Wealth Hackathon gives you those tools to hack into your own wealth that's already abundantly inside of you. No one in the world can give it to you. It comes with you, and you need to activate it. So as a wealth activist, my job is to activate that within you. So the platform is just here to offer tools, resources, webinars, workshops, books, series, bringing on my billionaire and millionaire clients that come on to teach you and talk to you, tell their story, tell their secrets and their secret sauce and their sweet spots and things that you just don't, maybe you're not going to hear about in regular education. Financial literacy is a big issue in our country. And I don't mean to say any other issues are not important, because they all are very important. But financial literacy is a way for you to give over of yourself into this world. It's a way for you to have enough for you and other people. If you're not financial literate, how can you teach and show other people? It's good to learn, don't get me wrong, but you need to become a teacher by now, baby. You've been through some stuff. It's time for you to give back. As an entrepreneur, baby, you've been through some things. It's difficult. This is not for everybody.
Yeah.
And even some of us are in here, we're trying to scratch and get out. What did Jesus say? Take this cup. I don't even want it. I'm tired. I'm good. So if Jesus said it, you know good and well that, some people feel those pressures. So Wealth Hackathon was a way for us to give out tools and resources. For years, Mark Cuban allowed me to use his movie theater because I was bringing in African American billionaires and millionaires so people could see that it's you. You look like these people. They come from the same background that you do. They've had the same struggles as you. And it was very important for me to show people better than I could tell them. That's how we really got started. That was a community economic opportunity, which spells CEO. And a lot of people want to be the boss, but you don't want to pay the cost. So let me help you with your cost factor, build value with you. And the way that I did that was hacking into people's mindsets by showing them a Black billionaire, showing them a Black millionaire, getting them to the place where they could be and meet in person and really get those nuggets. Dr. George C. Frazier, one of my prized guests, would always come out, not only to share his platform, which is amazing, power networking, but he came out here to really talk through people and break through their mindsets to show them how to connect the dots live and in person. And these things really changed the narrative in the city of Dallas. And I'm so excited that we're doing this still. Honestly, that was since 2011. We've been flying in Black billionaires and millionaires into our city, but we've now started to take the show on the road and do it in other places. And that's why I've developed Wealth Hackathon, to show you that without billionaires and millionaires, if you're making six figures or negative $21, we can do it on all levels across all platforms. We just got to show you how to do it. And that's what we do.
For those folks that are out there, go and hit the share button. You can hit the watch party button. You can pay this message forward. For Regina that's listening right now, for Ashley that's out there, what's up, Kristen, Grifton, thanks so much for tuning in. All of you who tune in, hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. Pay this message forward. Bless another little boy or a little girl or a big boy or a big girl. Let's do that. And as we do that, she started off with the hackathon with a couple streams. She said credit was number one, and then was revenue streams. So I'm curious, like you might be curious, why did she put credit first and not revenue streams? So let's find out, what was her thought process, and let's get Dr. Omai's view of the world. So why did you list credit like number one, and then you said then revenue streams, then the other two? So talk a little about the importance of credit and revenue.
As an entrepreneur, other people's money is your most prized asset. It is something that will set it off. We all know what it's like to have to take care of everything on our own. We all know what it's like to struggle and go through struggle culture. I am vehemently here to break struggle culture through my purpose of wealth. And so I figured, how can you break the ice quicker? The best thing that you can do is to use your credit to establish yourself, save your money, use somebody else's money, start your business or your platform or pay your bills or whatever the case may be, and pay that stuff back later. As you're building your credit, which is building itself as you're able, that's when you know you're going to go out there and get those streams of income, because guess what? You got to pay this money back. You have to ensure that you not only pay it back, you pay it forward. So with credit, it really is about relationships. So I always start with relationships because they're key. Without relationships, you shouldn't even want to be in business. This isn't the game for you doing stuff on your own. And I meet a lot of people that want to do it on their own. So I always break it with credit first, just to build and establish those relationships. Introverted, extroverted, it doesn't matter. You can build that relationship as you're letting that build itself and accumulate, which is wealth is accumulation. Then you go work on your streams. You should already be working, honestly, simultaneously, but your focus, once you know you have some credit and you know you have some loans or some credit cards or something, there's a form of security that comes from that. It makes it a little bit easier for you to go out there and get your streams of income on, because you know you have something in the bag. While it's building, you can confidently start to go and boost and get other streams of income at the same time. So I just use credit first because it breaks the ice. It's an icebreaker. Other people's money is the most powerful tool that every billionaire and millionaire that I know use or have utilized. Not all of them obviously got a loan or credit or something like that. And a lot of them actually have very bad credit because they're just overextended because they're constantly moving. Elon Musk didn't pay his rent so he could invest. Mark Cuban told us a great story about how he was sleeping on couches and stuff. It's just unheard of stories that you get to know from these type of people. But if he had credit, at minimum, he brought value to the relationship. So credit helps to build the relationship while you're establishing value. And then getting your streams of income afterwards is how you're going to sustain your credit. So that's kind of why I use that format.
Man, I love it. For those folks out there like Kevin Miles has said OPM, other people's money. James Pound is watching right now. What's up, William E. Thomas? For everyone that's out there watching right now, look right below the video, and just put other people's money. Hashtag Dr. Omai. Just put, if you out there, you like, Shay, I want to use other people's money, Shay. Sign me up for that program. Don't worry. I'm going to ask her what her secret is to building relationships. Don't worry, I'm not gonna let her off the hook. And how she's able to establish these relationships with other folks so she can be on the inside. You know, she didn't just fall out the sky and get these connections. But before she does that, you look right below the video. And just put other people's money. Hashtag Dr. Omai. I'm signing up for that program right now. Matter of fact, sign me up right now. I'm all in. But Dr. Omai, I kind of brought it up. I let the cat out the bag, okay? They want to know, okay, I see she's been able to get into these circles, into these places. I'm curious, Shay, if she had to give us her top 3 ideas for establishing connections, maintaining relationships, and being able to nurture relationships. I see you out there, William says, yes, I'm down with other people's money. What are 3 secrets that you could share with folks that are out there? Because I know this is something that you do working with individuals as well.
Yeah, that's really good. At the top of my head, it's thinking long term, knowing that I want to have long term relationships. I'm never going to come on Shay's platform and not consistently check in with him. 10, 5, 6, 7, 8 years from now, I'm already thinking ahead on how I'm going to bless his platform, how the Happy Entrepreneur Show and the Comeback Champions is going to be a part of my conversations, a part of what it is that I do. So when I enter the relationship, I'm already researching, I'm already coming in there with a long-term mentality. No one wants a one-night stand in business. You don't want to have that one-hit wonder when you're doing business. You want this thing to be maintained and sustained. So sustainability model is because you're thinking long-term. So that's a secret sauce. That's a big tip, a very expensive tip at that, right? So the other thing that I think that we think about is I plan my relationships. I'm a little strategic when it comes to relationships. I'm on a cadence and a schedule. We got a little time clock. I'm a Virgo, so I'm going to be on that clock for you. And I create a cadence. I have meetings with myself. I have my contact information saved on my phone for me. And I do meetings with myself and I check in with myself. I walk and talk to myself. People may not understand the value in that if they're not comfortable doing that. You could have an accountability partner that you do it with, but that's another secret to help you establish that. And then the other thing is I always look for the top. My mom always told us who owns this building. So from little girls, we always had to go in and ask for the owner. She never wanted us speaking to someone who didn't make a decision. Typically, when a salesperson comes to your home, they're looking for the decision maker. Typically, when a salesperson calls the office, they get real close and fine and dandy with the secretary and the gatekeeper, but they're trying to get to that CEO or that person that makes that decision that's going to cut that check. So one thing that we always go off of, I'm unapologetic about being about money. A lot of people like, do it from your heart and do it from your passion. I'm like, I'm doing it because I want to eat and I want my son to eat. And I'm very open. People about open about their, no offense, sexuality. I'm open about my moneyality. Like I'm about my paper. So those are my secrets. So when people meet me, I don't sugarcoat that. If I meet someone, I'm like, how are we making money together? How are we going to build revenue, as Shay would say, together? What is it? How can I add value? We were speaking behind the scenes and I'm like, what do you do? How do you do it? Oh, so then you got this, you got a call center. He don't know this, but I got a call center and I do exactly what it is that he does. So at some point, I'm gonna be calling his phone to see how we can connect, and where we cannot connect the dots, we can still pour into each other and share opportunities as they come. So those are my 3 ways to do that. So number 1, I know that was a lot. I know I'm a lot, but number 1, I want to make sure I come into the relationship long term, right? And then I want to make sure that I'm establishing that long-term sustainability relationship pinpoint. Then I'm talking to myself, having meetings with myself, setting up cadences for myself. How dare I miss a meeting with myself and then get mad when somebody don't want to have a meeting with me and I'm not even sticking up for myself. And then last but not least, I talk about money a lot.
Talk about money a lot. For some folks, talk about money is a taboo thing, but for you, you're all about it. I'm loving it, man. I'm certainly smelling. If you're smelling what she's cooking in the kitchen over there, if she's coming down your street right now, do me a favor. Hit the share button. Like, how do you give a digital applause right now? Hit the share button. Hit the watch party button. Because Dr. Omai showed up for one reason and one reason only, and that is to add value and to serve. And my God, if she's adding value right now, she's serving. Hit the share button, hit the watch party button, and in that little box that pops up, just write those words: serve others. Hashtag Dr. Omai. Just put serve others. Yeah, you'll get paid, but one of the things I always say is don't chase the money. Add value, and the money will chase you. And that's one of the things that Dr. Omai does so well. For those folks that are out there, we're moving into a segment. What's up, Regina? Regina Keeman, Lady Lioness is in the house. New York, New York. So nice, they named it twice. I know it's not original, but it's so true. Okay, with that being said, back to our regularly scheduled program. We're moving into a segment now, which is one of our core philosophies. And I don't know if I told you this, but one of our core philosophies is this whole notion that today is my January 1st. And today is my January 1st. For those folks that know I'm about to do right now, like, okay, Shay, I know what you're about to do. You can look right below the video right now. You can write those words. Today is my January 1st. And for those folks that are hearing it for the first time, today is my January 1st is one of our core philosophies. We don't wait for the January 1st date on the calendar. We create a January 1st date every moment of our life. A January 1st is a restart. It's a do-over. It's our past doesn't equal our future. And it's probably, 1,000+ January 1st moments throughout the day where you get to make a decision, and that decision can forever change the trajectory of your life. You make a decision you're going to work out, right? That's a decision. Or you're going to sit back and binge watch and watch Netflix. You make a decision you're going to eat hamburgers and French fries. And I love to say salt, pepper, and some ketchup. If you're out here like my 2 adult sons, gotta have some hot sauce, or you go to the refrigerator, right? You got a refrigerator. You open up the refrigerator. Inside there's some kale. I'll have that. There's some broccoli. Shit, I'll take that. There's even some Brussels sprouts. And you're like, yes, that's a January 1st moment. So my question to Dr. Omai, she's over there listening right now. When you hear those words, today is my January 1st. What goes to your mind?
Man, let me bask in this for a minute. You just blessed my soul. Kevin Miles is on here. His birthday is January the 8th. And then his parents, actually, they've been married for 50+ years, and their anniversary is on January the 1st. And so when I think about that, I think about, love. I think about love, the essence of love, and being able to do that every single day, every single moment, every time you turn around. always remarrying, always rebusinessing. It's something like when you think about your business plan, it is a living document. Your LLC or your corporation as an entrepreneur is a living entity. Your EIN number, no different than a social security number, creates another entity. So it sounds to me like you're operating out of a creation mode and you're really being able to connect to source. It's good having resources, but whenever you get into those sources and you're having a divine moment where you and divinity are on the same page in a total alignment, it's love. It is a powerful essence. It sounds like you are embodying and bringing it to you. Basically, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like you're bringing it towards you versus you trying to go towards it. You're bringing it this way. And I was just thinking about this escalator love relationship to where we're going, up and down the escalator together. It's not until we're both coming at the same speed in the same direction towards one another. So when I hear January 1st, it sounds like you're going towards something, which is how love operates. It's going towards another. It's coming towards you. That's how you know when somebody loves you. They're coming this way, baby. Right? That's how you know when business is good. It's coming this way. Okay. So that's what I'm hearing when I see and I think about that in the spiritual realm. I can see when you're thinking about January 1st and having that moment on a repeat, you're going towards something. And that's the most powerful. That is an empowering, powerful, dominating, dominion type energy that I'm going to bask in for the rest of my life. Thank you, Shay. Thank you.
Well, today is your January 1st, and there's a number of folks out there getting excited right now, by the way. They're getting excited. They're saying, well, today's my January 1st, just like they were excited back on December 31st. After a couple of drinks on the back of a napkin, they started writing down those New Year's resolutions, and for some, we know how that landed, right? For others, I get it. So take a moment, because sometimes there's truth inside of truisms. And you may have heard this before, that consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. Consistency is the key. But having said that, what do most people struggle with most? Consistency. So what is your secret sauce? What do you share in order to maintain consistency with their mindset around wealth is my birthright, between their actions around wealth is my civil right, and taking action every day? What's your secret to being consistent?
The number one thing is to do everything I don't want to do. If I don't want to do it, I do it. When I don't feel like doing it, I do it. When somebody told me not to do it, I do it. There's a system of rebellion that has a positive side to it. And I believe when you rebel against your natural, the brain is a lazy being. And what I mean by lazy, it has a memory, so it doesn't have to continue to remember. It has spaces in it where it just wants to relax and chill. You've got to rev up. That heart is another story. Your heart is different, but your brain, it don't want to do the work. It doesn't feel like it. It's programmable. It's unprogrammable. And so the brain is not necessarily always wanting to be doing stuff. Your will, your being, your essence, your soul, your heart, that's what really has you going. Your circulatory system is what's got you alive right now. Your brain can shut down and you can be knocked unconscious. You can be in a coma, but as long as that heart is pumping, baby, you're alive. So I really believe that a secret is to do everything you just don't want to do. Just do it. I love that about Nike. I love that about BB. I don't know if people know what that story is, but just do the thing that you're supposed to do. So if I see something on the ground, whether it's in my house or somebody else's house, I'm gonna pick it up. When I go to people's houses, are they trying to stop me? I try to wash the dishes. Me and my neighbor just had us a nice little fight. Because I'm like, look, I'm finna clean. I'm gonna do what I do. God told me if you treat everything as your own, you will own everything. So I just started owning everything. And that means even owning up to my own BS. And that's when I don't want to do something, I just do it. I don't feel like it, do it anyway. And it just creates this behavior of consistency for my life. It may not be the same for somebody else, but that's how I do it.
I love what you're doing. For those folks that are out there, they're wondering, what type of clients does Dr. Omai work with these days in her firm? And they're wondering, hey, is it something that I can get tuned into or something I can refer her to take a moment, if you would, and tell them what type of clients is your firm seeking these days. And number two, how can they best connect with you? If you have something you want to share with them, you're welcome to do that. But how can they stay in this conversation with you over and beyond this time that we have right now that's so precious, but yet so short?
Right. That's good. My normal clientele are on other entrepreneurs, mainly founders, CEOs, and leaders of their organizations that want like a board member or an advisor or someone to come in and be there for them. As a little girl, I always asked, who's the teacher to the teachers? Who's the pastor to the pastors? And God was like, it's you're the one. So since I was a very little girl, I was always in leadership and always working with leadership. So if you're the leader of your organization, you're the founder of your organization, the CEO of your organization, even if you haven't gotten started yet, those are my typical clients. My sweet spot, if you will, and who normally seeks me out are those multimillionaires or billionaires and those who want to sustain what they already have. However, I do understand there's those up and coming people that may not have reached those financial goals just yet. And so I actually branch off of the ones who have and connect them with the ones who haven't. And so I act as a conduit. People call me a mediator or connector or whatever you want to call it, but that's what I do. So my clients actually are both and. It's almost like my favorite number 11. I just bring them together. So those are my clients, leaders of their organization, other entrepreneurs. And I work as an investor, whether it be a legacy investor, a financial investor, or what I just said, a broker where I connect you to other investors.
I love what you're doing. How can they best connect with you? Where should they go? Did you mention that or did I miss that?
No, I didn't mention it, but I was going to say you can go to the website.
Yeah, we want you to mention it. Mention it again. So for those, yes, I mean, they're like, this sounds good, Shay, and I'm hearing her, but I'm picking up what she's putting down over here. But where do I go? Don't worry. I know you. I hear you out there. So she's going to tell you now, where's the best place to go to connect with her so you can stay in this conversation. I know you already Google her. You're going to find her on social media, but where do you want them to connect with you?
I really want them to go to Wealth Hackathon, keep the title consistent. So you can go to www.wealthhackathon.com. Most of the information is on there, our social links, what we do. We have plenty of webinars. We still do live workshops.
So it's www again? Sorry, let me cut you off. It's www?
www.wealthhackathon.com. So wealth and the word hackathon.com.
So someone do me a favor. Look at right below the video. She's present with you right now. So she's not typing and stuff like that. She's right here with you, just you and her. And we're here. Look right below the video and drop that link, www.wealthhackathon.com. In fact, open up the browser now. Let's make sure it works. Sometimes these sites don't work. So go over to the browser, open it up, follow the instructions. And I'm going to suggest you get connected. Get plugged in. This is your time.
Yeah.
This is your moment. Today is your January 1st. You know, we're moving to a segment now that's kind of rapid fire, where I get to ask any question on my mind, and you can answer or you can decline. It's your call. It's your call, obviously. But one of my favorite questions that you get to answer in 2 minutes or less, the audience likes the less more than the 2 minutes, by the way. But you get to answer the question is, of all of the mentors you had on this journey of life, and you've had so many, what's one of the lessons you learned from one of your mentors that you're going to pass on to us? And for those folks that are out there right now, you get the benefit from one of her mentors, which is pretty cool, by the way. So you lean into your phone right now. If you're on your phone, if you're on a computer, kind of lean in, do your hands like this and say, yes, give it to me. Yes, give it to me. Yeah. Do that. Do that now. Do that now. And she's about to give it up. So tell us, what's the lesson you learned from one of your mentors?
I'll have to pull out Dr. Cheryl Action Jackson. So okay. Dr. Cheryl Action Jackson has been my mentor since 2007. We've just been through a lot together. She's a wonderful person of action. Rain come, sun shine, up, down, sick, healthy, well. She's done it. She's going to do it. She's about action. One thing that she taught me that sticks with me is that she always remembered the little. She always remembered the little. Oprah was the keynote speaker at her gala for her nonprofit Minnie's Food Pantry. And even with that, she's still carrying around this piece of, this can of corn of how she started her food pantry. And she remembers her experiences, and she allows people that are less fortunate or just struggling, going through something, to walk the red carpet just like she does when she goes to these high dollar events. And so she always remembers exactly where she comes from. She remembers how it all got started. She's an amazing storyteller. And one thing that she has taught me is always be confident to tell your story at your level. Don't worry about comparing it to somebody else. She allowed Oprah to take that stage, and Oprah raised $1.3 million. Dr. Shirley Action Jackson is good within her right, but obviously she's not Oprah Winfrey. So she was willing to share and tell her story to somebody else who could carry it and take it to the next level. So you telling your story and sharing your story, and being authentic and true to yourself, no matter if it's tears gonna come out your eyes or if it's money gonna come out your bank account. With a can of corn, this woman now owns a 30,000 square foot pantry. So we have to think about those stories that make us us. And even when we have leaders and other people that we see outside of us, stick to your story.
Stick to your story. I love it, man. That is so powerful. If you could take a moment and just share just one idea that you've garnered from many of the books you read. There's so many books out there, so I'm not expecting to name the book. Don't mention the good book, okay? The Bible is in a category just all by itself. And we'll take off Think and Grow Rich. That's in another category. But if you had to think of an idea or book that you've read that really kind of impacted you, and it just pops top into your mind right now, what book would come top of mind, and why?
Life in Half a Second.
Ooh.
Life in Half a Second. Matthew is his name. I don't want to chop up his last name, but Matthew is the author, and it's Life in Half a Second. And that book, chapter 5 specifically, really thoroughly changed my life. I've heard of vision boards and law of attraction and universal laws and things of that nature, but this book actually makes you do something about those type of things. And so he has you write a letter from your future self to your current self, and he has you go through details of that letter and make sure that you're really connecting with that future self and giving yourself advice. This means you're not looking for a Mark Cuban or Jeff Bezos or whoever you want to name to guide your future. It's really you speaking to yourself and connecting with yourself. And it's you being able to write out and plan out your life and create that birthright and that civil right for yourself. And so that chapter 5, the whole book is amazing, but chapter 5 really taught me a lot. And I do it very often, more often than not, that I'll I'll talk to myself from my future self, and we got a whole plan. So real quickly, Dr. O, it's the year 2025. Girl, I done hit $4 billion today. I don't know what to do with myself. How are you? And you're just really going through that motion of doing that for yourself. And you do that regularly, consistently, like Shay was talking about. And it makes you step into self in a different kind of way.
Love it. What's maybe an affirmation, a saying, maybe a philosophy that you hold near and dear to your heart? And it's hard. I know it's always hard to pick one, so you might have two that kind of rings true for you, whether it gets you motivated or whether it keeps you grounded or whether something that you kind of lean on a consistent basis. Please share that with us. And as you're out there listening right now, I want you to watch with new eyes right now. I want you to listen with new ears, because now you're kind of behind the scenes and you're inside her subconscious mind, and you get a chance to kind of hear what she tells herself. So you're like her inner voice. And maybe this is something that you can adopt as well. So please, Dr. Omai, share with us.
Love it. So first and foremost, I have one law of economics, and you're either the next billionaire or you're going to work for one. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. So it's either you or somebody else. And then the other thing is a quote that I got years ago, I don't know, 2006 maybe. And I was just sitting writing, and it says, the quote spoke to me, and it says, "It only takes one man to get tired of sleeping to awaken an entire nation." And typically you would think that that one person is you. So if it is you, then you can do that. And if it's not you, you need to be supporting that person that is. So it only takes one man to get tired of sleeping to awaken a whole nation.
Man, I love that. That's super, super powerful. Second to last question as we come down the home stretch. And for those folks that are out there, you can still hit the share button. I know some of you hit it twice already. Thank you so much. Some of you say, well, I was going to do it, but Shay, hit the share button. She's done nothing but pour out. She's done nothing but serve plus add value. And that's what you're looking for at the end of the day. So hit the share button, hit the watch party button, pay this message forward to your network, to someone else. Help someone else right now. Second to last question as we come down the home stretch. What does happiness look like for Dr. Omai now? What does happiness look like or feel like for where you are in your life right now?
Yeah, it looks like total freedom. It looks like I'm free to say, free to speak. It looks like I'm free to be me, to be me to other people. I'm free to allow other people to be who they really are, not try to change them or want more for them than they want for themselves. When I see potential, I don't jump, shake at it anymore. I allow it to develop in its time. I definitely give its hints. I'm still who I am. So I definitely push. I'm a coach by nature, so I'm going to push you a little bit and throw you off the cliff. But for the most part, when I see it, I give it time now. So my freedom allows me to be free within myself and then also recognize that free spirit and that liberty for other people. And I want freedom bad for people, but I never want it more than they want it for themselves.
So powerful. Let me first say thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate you. You've got a heart to give. You have such a big heart to serve. And, one thing we know, right? All of us on here can always make more money. You can make more money. I can make more money. You watching right now, you can make more money, but none of us can make more time. So she's given us the most precious gift that she have away from her family, away from her business, away from her hobbies, to be here right now with you and to be totally present, to share not only the tools she has, not only the resources, but to help you get to another level. So let me say again, thank you so much. For those folks that are out there, she'll give you the site to go to, but I believe it's www.wealthhackathon.com. Is that right?
I want you on the team, Shay.
Wealthhackathon.com. For Joseph Lakina Perkins is watching right now. For Willie Gray that's watching right now. For Kevin that's still out there. Regina that's out there. So many out there watching. Make sure you visit www.wealthhackathon.com and just follow the instructions. And if nothing else, take that link and share it with someone else. Do that right away. I'm going to turn it over to you to have your final thoughts, final comments. This is not the last time, by the way. Can't wait to have you back. You're totally incredible. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, this platform is phenomenal. It is very endearing. It is very inspiring. And it's definitely what we need at this time in our life and going forward, this next level. So I'm very grateful to the platform. I'm very grateful for all those who tuned in tonight. It's not by chance that you're here. This was divine. It was on purpose, and it is for a purpose. And I'm so happy that you joined in tonight and that you support this platform and that you supported us tonight working together with you in your entrepreneurship pursuits. My last final thoughts would be just to say, hey, listen, why not you? Why not you? Everybody else, why not you? And when you have that type of mentality that, hey, look, so-and-so's doing what they do, they're doing it at the level that they're doing it at, why not me? There's so much to go around. Never, ever, ever mistake that there's not a ton of abundance out here. There's a ton of it. So go ahead and get it. It's yours. You deserve it. It's your birthright, it's your civil right, but it's also something that you can use to build for years to come. So I'm so excited for you, and I'm very happy for you, and I want to share in that happiness for many years to come.
Well, I'm happy for you. Thanks a lot for those folks that are out there. Thank you so much. You've been listening to the one and only Dr. Omai, who's totally amazing. I want you to know as you're listening that you are amazing, by the way. You are incredible, that you've got greatness inside you. And for you, the best is still yet to come. Why? Because wealth is your birthright. For you, today is your January 1st. Why? Because wealth is your civil right. And for you, with 100% certainty, you can do this. Why? Because if Dr. Omai has done it, so can you. With that being said, I want you to know that you're incredible once again. I want you all to make it a great day. And I promise you from the bottom of my heart, we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. For those who wonder, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Remember, time is long. It really is. Life on the other hand, is very, very short. So we got to live in the moment, and we got to make it count. God bless, and I wish you success. This is your time. Peace. Thanks a lot. We out of here. See you later. Bye-bye.
Promise I made to my mom. I only did this message for one person, and that's my mom. This is for you, Mom. Love you. My name is Shay Brown, the happy entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Shay Brown. Mic check, mic check. All I do is win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. Yes. Yeah. And they stay there. And they stay there, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win.
Thank you, God bless.